Hello, Leo. Welcome to your first week of January reading, and welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer. First of all, please subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And please stay tuned for the rest of your reading. I am using the Colette Baron Reed Good Tarot. And then I also pulled a card for you from the Medicine Woman Tarot. And we're doing a simple cross, and then at the end of the reading, we're going to pull a Shaman Wisdom card. So, to get started, what's crowning your reading is the Strength card. And this is a card of endurance. This is a card of, regardless of what's going on, knowing that you have the inner reserves to get through it. You can push through it and move through it and find your strength to keep going. The present situation is the High Priestess. So this is the card of intuition, of deeper, hidden knowledge, mystery, things like that. And what's crossing that card is temptation, or also known as the devil. And this is a card of being overly attached to things, perhaps addictive behavior, obsessive thoughts or behaviors, things like that. And the hopes and fears, you have the Messenger of Fire. So this is usually the Knight of Wands. But in this deck, it has a little bit of a different meaning. This is about being headstrong and passionately pursuing things, being very willful, and maybe even slightly stubborn, which, and you did get, that is your card, Leo, as well. The Strength card did come up for you. In your foundation of the reading, we have the Five of Wands. And this is usually depicted as a card of, I can't get that glare, there we go. A card of competition. But in this deck, it's really talking about, rather than seeing things as competitive, like, it's a time for being counterintuitive and, letting things come in from left field, sort of, and like ideas that you didn't think were worth pursuing, maybe they really are. In your recent past, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is also like destiny meets synchronicity in this deck. And it's basically about some kind of, either some change that you created in your life or some change that came about in your life. Perhaps a new relationship or a new job or a change in circumstances. Is this just recently happened. So this could be within the last few weeks, the last few months. It really depends on you. This is a general reading. In your future position, in the near future position, you have the Five of Earth. So this is usually the Five of Pentacles. But in this deck, it's really talking about the illusion of lack and of sort of missing what is possible, or like missing out on, there's something like right at your feet that you may not, or right beside you that you're not really seeing. And that whatever it is that you think you might be missing in your life, it's not really missing. It's just something in the way you're perceiving things, or perhaps because it's not showing up the way you thought it would show up, and you are dismissing it. So first off, right off the bat, what I see here is with the High Priestess and then the Devil card crossing this card like this, maybe you're either blocking your intuition because you are so focused on perhaps material wealth, or maybe you are obsessing over a particular relationship, or maybe there is some kind of addictive behavior in your life that really needs to be addressed, and you're not listening to that inner voice. You're not listening to what it's really telling you to do, or how to proceed with the situation, or or perhaps it's asking you to stop being so obsessive, because when you're so forcing things, because with the messenger of fire here, which is a very headstrong, willful energy, it's almost as though, Leo, like you're trying to force something into your life, or force some way of things that you want it to be, and it just isn't supposed to be that way. It just isn't going to be that way. And it's going to be so that it's not going to work out the way that you wanted it to. And because of your obsessiveness with this, whatever it is, whether it's attachment to a particular way of being, whether it's attachment to material wealth, whether it's an attachment to an unhealthy relationship, it's going to work out so that things are not going to probably pan out the way that you were hoping to. Not just because you're obsessive about it, but because this is not really what Spirit wants for you. This is not really what is meant to be for you. And it's going to take strength for you to endure whatever it is that's coming in the future for you. It's not going to show up the way you think it is. Or something with it is like you're so focused on something that you're not really seeing the bigger picture of it. You're not really, listening to your intuition. Or maybe you're only listening to the parts of it that you want to listen to. Maybe you're not heeding some certain, I don't want to say warning, but some, not heeding a warning, or not heeding the things that you need to work on in your life. And whatever changes came about in your recent past, whether they were, whether they brought you something positive or something negative in your life, it's sort of paving the way for this like new situation that's coming through for you. And what this is really asking you is to change the way you look at things. Change the way you are expecting things to show up, because good things want to come in for you, but you're so obsessed with the way in which you want them to come through, or you're so attached to something. You have some serious either it's attachment or obsession with something. It could be wealth. It could be having to do with a relationship, or perhaps it's sex. But you're not listening to your intuition, and it's getting in the way. Whatever this is, it could be even that you can't hear your intuition. You can't hear it because this is so much louder. This is so much louder than what your inner voice is trying to come through and tell you. And you need to quiet this down and somehow. And I mean, it depends on what it is for you, whether you're being obsessed about a lover, or you're obsessed over material wealth, or living in the lap of luxury, and you're just so willfully wanting to charge ahead and get what it is that you want because you are so attached to this particular outcome. And I think it is an outcome, because the 5 of Earth with the 5 of Fire talk about how things are playing out. And whatever this that you're seeking this outcome to be, it's like you're just so focused on it. You're being very, very much in Leo fashion, very stubborn about it. And you're like, no, this is the way it has to be, because I said so, because I'm the king and the queen around here, and this is the way it has to be. But it always isn't going to be that way. And the more that you cling to this, the more difficult it's going to end up being for you. And the more strength you're going to need to get through whatever is coming into the future. So, you know, this is really talking about not so much going with what you think things, or how you're used to doing things or seeing things, or dealing with things. You know, this talks about, rather than like competition in this deck, it's really, or arguing, it's really about finding that common ground and teamwork and trying to look at things in a different perspective. And that's what this card is telling you too, is like, you feel like there's something that's not showing up for you, and you're feeling so like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this manifesting for me? Why isn't this coming into my life? But it's like you're missing out on the blessing. You're not really seeing there's something else there for you, but you're so obsessively attached to something that you're not hearing that quiet, still voice within. So, I mean, my suggestion to you would be to try and like calm your mind down and try and realize that you don't have control over everything. You don't have control over everything in your life, no matter how much energy and will you put behind something. It may or may not be right for you. And I think these cards are asking you, like, to really listen to your inner voice and find out what it is that is right for you, because sometimes we think that we want something or that something is right for us, but it turns out that it isn't. And the more that we cling to it, the further away we move from what will really make us happy. So let's look at the Lover's card from the Medicine Tarot deck. And I'm going to open up the book on this one because I'm still a student of these cards. So the affirmation for this card, and maybe that's what you're trying to bring into your life. Maybe you're looking for your twin flame or your soulmate, and you're just trying to force the situation, or you're so obsessed with it that you're missing out on other things that could be coming into your life. And it's going to take strength because of these obsessive or attachments that you have. You're putting yourself into a place where you're going to end up needing the strength to get through it. And you did it to yourself. And you did it to yourself. No one else did it to you. It's your attachments to things. So the affirmation for this card: with love, I entice the inner person into relationship with the outer world. I attract what I wish to become, and I irradiate what I am. Beauty surrounds me. The earth and I are one. So this card isn't just about like finding your soulmate or your lover. It's about finding the spirit within and uniting with your spirit in the spirit of ecstasy. Like that bliss within. And this is what the card says. We are the lovers, both within and outside of yourself. We are two parts of you. The beauty you see in the person you love is but a mirror of that beauty within yourself. As you love another, you begin to love yourself. Within you, a perfect self dwells and begins to have expression. Through love, becoming confident enough to walk out into the world. I, the woman attuned to spirit, am given form through the male attuned to the needs of the world. I, the male attuned to the needs of the world, am given inspiration and guidance through the woman attuned to spirit. The superconsciousness is manifest through the flesh in our perfect union. The word is made flesh between us. As womaness and maness are in balance, we dwell in harmony. As inspiration and guidance from within are balanced by attending to the needs of the world, we find equilibrium. It is thus in you and in your relationships. We are the conscious and the subconscious, the rational and the intuitive, the work and the play, the sensitive and the sensuous. When you have reached us, you will no longer see the outer world as a force against yourself. You will have brought goodness from it, and it will have brought goodness forth from you. Now the sexual energy reaches from the sensual to the super senses. The kundalini has risen. The sleeping serpent has awakened. Love now encompasses both the physical attraction on the human level and the craving for the divine. In love, there is heightened energy and perception of the good within the loved one. As experience deepens and expands your perception, you begin to see beauty everywhere, to love all things, to unite with the divine. So, what I'm getting from reading that now is, it's like maybe you're just so like obsessed with like the material aspect of your relationship, or whatever this relationship that you're trying to bring forth into your life, whether it is some kind of, union with a soulmate or a twin flame, or whatever it is that you want to name it and call it, okay? You're so obsessed with this material aspect of it that you're missing the relationship, because it's really not about that. It's beyond that. It's about when you're in this space of the divine, of your spirit, when you're listening to your intuition, then you are in a space of spiritual harmony. And that's when you connect. You have to connect with your inner spirit first, before you can find that outer person to, that person outside of you isn't going to balance you out. You have to balance you out first. And I do see like being out of balance here for some of you Leos. I see, and the devil energy will definitely throw you out of balance. And being too focused on the material, whether it's finances or obsessive thoughts, or trying to be headstrong and force your will on things, which, if it's not the right time, because this card also in this deck talks about, or is it, no, it's this card, it's talking about like the timing of things. Things have to be, you have to be in the right place within, and it has to be the right time. And, maybe something happened recently in the past and it wasn't the right time for whatever it was that you were really hoping for. And, going forward, it's really asking you that you have to just stop focusing so much on the material realm, and you really need to listen to your intuition. So we're going to pull a Shaman Wisdom card for you to end the reading. We have one card for Leo, and that's the one that wants to come out. Okay. Redwood. I think I got this card for another reading recently. Redwood. We're going to read it right out of the book. I am Redwood. I am the majestic grandmother spirit of the forests. Through my roots, you will come to understand that trivial friendships can become profound relationships. I am unending. I am lasting truth that aims you toward the ultimate wisdom and knowledge you are seeking. I extend your awareness of the universal experience. Consider the eminence you are placing on yourself by restricting your upward growth. I come of age. You must also come of age, grow up, and face that which is on your path. So, this card speaks of trivial friendships that can become profound relationships. Maybe the person that you're looking for is somebody that is right there. They might be right there. They could be like somebody that a friend of a friend, or somebody at work, or somebody that, if this has to do with a relationship, or perhaps there are people around you that if you were more open and less focused on like whatever it is that, you know, maybe you're hanging out with the wrong crowd. Maybe you need to be open to different types of friends, you know. Stop being so headstrong and like having to like only have, you know, the right friends and the right, you know, everything has to just be just right, because you have something to prove in this material realm. But that's never going to bring you any real satisfaction in your life. It just isn't. It's no matter how much money you may have accumulated or whatever, Spirit will find a way so that you're going to end up in a place where you're going to need strength to get through it. And whatever situation comes through. And so this card is basically asking you to grow up and extend your awareness. It's saying, I extend your awareness of the universal experience. So it's like, you know, it's beyond this, like I said already. You know, it's about extending from just being, you know, stop blocking this universal divine experience that you should be bringing into this realm, because you're just so focused on this material world and you're not letting the divine work through you, and you're not letting opportunities for real friendships and real love, perhaps a real relationship that would really fulfill you on many levels, and you're blocking it. And growing up has a lot more to do than just, you know, having your own apartment and paying your bills. I mean, it has a lot more to do with, you know, where are you spiritually? Are you on a spiritual path? In what ways are you blocking yourself on the spiritual path? What can you let go of? And I mean that in terms of like how you think and like, you know, what it is that you're putting your will toward. So I'm sorry if I come across a little bit like, but I'm just saying what the spirits want me to say to you, and I hope that this message reaches the right people, and I hope that things are looking good for you past this first week of January. I hope that you gain some insight or hopefulness or healing through this reading in some way. And if you resonate with this reading, please give it a like or a comment, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much, Leo, and I do wish you a happy, healthy new year. Take care.